you have a whole visceral body reaction where it's not really equal to what's being said. So the way you're reacting is like an absolute nutter. But what was said really was so small. And so it's triggering something inside you.
But 26, I mean, most 26-year-olds are probably out there drinking and partying, certainly not thinking that they haven't learned how to use their brains properly. I mean, what was kind of going on in your personal life or your brain or your corporate life that, made you think that your brain doesn't work? Why did you think you weren't using enough of it?
Yeah, so it was my first marriage, actually. I got married at 22, which way too young, and we were having loads of rows, and that could be because we weren't right for each other, but I really wanted to understand why am I getting so triggered? And I was getting I'm Iraqi, we're very hot-headed, very fiery, and very hot-headed, and I didn't really want to grow up like that. I grew up in the UK, and consider myself
was your
British.
husband English?
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was English as well. And and he was very kind of quiet and would, we were complete opposites when it came to arguing. He wouldn't speak for weeks on end, and that would drive me insane. And so I just decided, I saw this thing being advertised online, and there wasn't really much online then. And it was about trigger. And I went to do this course. It was in Bournemouth, with an amazing guy called Reg Connolly. And I went to do this course on triggers, and it just blew my mind.
What does a trigger mean?
So trigger is something, say, for example, someone says something and you react to it in a way that is so much like you have a whole visceral body reaction where it's not really equal to what's being said. So the way you're reacting is like an absolute nutter. But what was said really was so small, and so it's triggering something inside you.
And is that not a pent-upness? I'm trying to relate this to me and my missus. I mean, she gets triggered very easily, but I would say that that's because we hate each other. We've had 3 years of probably doing things that each of us don't like, and therefore, settings, like if I said something, and I'll always say to her, with you the punishment never fits to crime. I'll do something, and which will either be nothing or it might be a little something, but just like a little something, whatever. You left the dishes out, for example, and because you've left the dishes out, she'll go absolutely berserk. But ultimately it's because there's all this pent upness. But are you saying it's more complicated than that?
Yeah,
then?
it is, and the annoyance isn't about the dishes. It's never about the dishes. And it's the same with us when I, in my previous marriage, it was never about the dishes. It was something so much deeper. And what I have learned throughout my years of doing this is that normally these triggers come out because our body remembers something that happened to us. It's normally up until the age of 7. And there is a moment in time where we have a fear or something, and our body remembers, and it's the same body reaction. And that's why I learned from one of my mentors is they say, like, if it's hysterical, it's historical. It's never ever about what's in front of us. It's the fact that it's reminded us of something that happened. That's why it's not the dishes. It's probably not even you. It's just a memory. And this is something that has really helped me because it means that I take complete responsibility when I get angry with someone or annoyed, which is really annoying because it means I can't blame anyone. So as freeing as it is, it's also, there's a lot of responsibility on me to say, like, okay, well, if I'm annoyed, that's on me.